17 black actresses who had gay children. What if Hollywood's brightest icons carried stories the cameras were never meant to see? Behind awards, red carpets, and standing ovations were private family moments far more powerful than any performance. These legendary actresses didn't just shape film and television, they faced deeply personal realities as mothers under the public microscope. Fame could bring applause, but it could not silence truth in and out in their own homes. Tonight, we look beyond celebrity and into legacy, identity, and unconditional love. Some viewers will feel inspired, others may feel uncomfortable. Stay until the end and decide for yourself. Subscribe to Black Excellence Legends and tell us in the comments, should a star's family life ever be public discussion? Diahann Carroll. Diahann Carroll was more than a celebrated actress. She was a cultural turning point. Born in the Bronx in 1935, she rose during a period when black women in Hollywood were rarely allowed complexity, elegance, or authority on screen. That changed in 1968 when she starred in Julia, becoming the first African-American woman to lead a U.S. network television series. At a time when many roles for black performers were limited to stereotypes, Carroll portrayed a widowed nurse raising her son, a character defined not by servitude or comedy, but by intelligence, independence, and middle-class dignity. The show ran 3 seasons and earned her a Golden Globe Award, permanently altering the television landscape. Behind the poised public figure, however, her private life was far quieter and more guarded. Carroll understood fame in mid-20th century America came with unwritten rules, especially for a black woman navigating Hollywood and Broadway. Reputation was currency. Interviews from the 1970s reveal she was meticulous about presentation, speech, clothing, even the roles she accepted because a single controversy could close doors she had spent years forcing open. Her only child, Suzanne Kay, born in 1959, followed a creative path as a writer and television producer. Their relationship reflected 2 different eras of American culture. Carroll belonged to a generation that survived through restraint and control. Suzanne matured in a society increasingly defined by personal expression. Over the years, media curiosity turned towards Suzanne's private life, especially after her 2016 divorce from filmmaker Mark Bamford. Carroll never publicly discussed speculation surrounding her daughter. What she did express repeatedly was a mother's protective instinct. In interviews late in life, she emphasized privacy as a form of dignity rather than secrecy. Carroll's career extended far beyond Julia. She received an Academy Award nomination for Claudine 1974, appeared in Dynasty during the 1980s, and performed in major Broadway productions. By the time she passed away in October 2019 at age 84, she had worked professionally for nearly 6 decades. Her legacy sits at the intersection of fame, motherhood, and social change. She opened doors publicly while privately navigating expectations placed upon both celebrity and parenthood. The story surrounding her family was never about scandal. Instead, it revealed a deeper truth. Trailblazers often build their reputations through discipline, yet the next generation inherits the freedom they fought to create. Monique, born Monique Angela Hicks in Baltimore in 1967, built her career on fearless honesty. She first became widely recognized through stand-up comedy before television audiences embraced her as the outspoken and warm-hearted Nikki Parker on the UPN sitcom The Parkers, 1999 to 2004. Unlike many sitcom characters of the era, Nikki was not written as a background figure, but as a confident, romantic, middle-aged black woman, a portrayal that quietly challenged beauty standards in American entertainment. Years later, Monique stunned critics with a dramatic transformation in Precious 2009, earning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. The performance showed depth, intensity, and emotional range that redefined how Hollywood viewed her talent. Away from cameras, her most significant role was motherhood. Her eldest son, Shalon Jackson, grew up largely outside publicity despite his mother's fame. As he entered adulthood, online speculation emerged about his private relationships after he was reportedly seen showing affection toward another man in 2016. Monique refused to turn the moment into spectacle. Instead of statements or denials, she maintained silence for months, allowing her son to keep control of his own identity. During a 2017 stand-up performance in New York, she finally addressed the topic indirectly. Pausing mid-set, she told the audience that her love for her children would never depend on who they loved. The crowd responded not with laughter, but with applause. It was not a press conference or a social media post, but a human reaction, a mother speaking, rather than a celebrity managing public relations. That moment resonated widely because it contrasted the sensationalism often surrounding celebrity families. Monique has experienced professional conflicts in Hollywood, including public disputes over promotion and pay equity following her Oscar win. Yet those struggles seem secondary compared to her family values. She consistently emphasized that respect begins at home, and she would not allow public curiosity to define her child's life. Her story illustrates a shift in cultural attitudes. Earlier generations often hid personal matters to protect careers, while Monique demonstrated that acceptance could exist without spectacle. By choosing compassion over headlines, she reframed gossip into a message of unconditional support. In an industry fueled by exposure, her restraint became a powerful statement. Love does not require explanation, and dignity sometimes speaks loudest when said quietly. Nell Carter. Nell Carter, born Nell Ruth Hardy in Birmingham, Alabama in 1948, rose from poverty to national fame through pure vocal power and determination. She began singing in church choirs before moving to Broadway, where her performance in Ain't Misbehavin' earned her a Tony Award in 1978. Soon afterward, television audiences discovered her through the sitcom Gimme a Break 1981 to 1987, where she played the energetic housekeeper Nell Harper. Her booming laugh and commanding presence made her one of the most recognizable television personalities of the 1980s. Yet off-screen, Carter lived a life marked by hardship. She endured diabetes, personal losses, and the pressures of celebrity while raising children, including her adopted daughter, Tracy Carter. Adoption was deeply personal to her. She often spoke about wanting to provide stability and love that she herself lacked growing up. As Tracy matured, she explored gender identity and performance art, eventually appearing in drag shows in San Francisco under the stage name Miss Tish. During that era, the late 1980s and 1990s, public understanding of transgender identity was limited and often cruel. Tabloid media threatened to expose Tracy in a sensationalized way. According to accounts from people close to Carter, she worked intensely to keep photographs from circulating. Her motivation was not rejection, but protection. She feared the harsh scrutiny her child would face in a time far less accepting than today. Balancing a demanding career with motherhood proved emotionally exhausting. Carter rarely discussed her daughter publicly, preferring to shield her family from attention. Friends later described her as deeply devoted, carrying the stress privately while maintaining a joyful public image for audiences. Nell Carter died in January 2003 at age 54. After her passing, more details about her family life slowly became known, reshaping how many viewed her legacy. Beyond laughter and entertainment, her story reflected the struggles parents faced while navigating identity acceptance and public judgment decades before these conversations became mainstream. Her life stands as a portrait of quiet courage. On stage, she entertained millions, but her greatest effort occurred away from cameras, protecting a child's right to exist safely in a world not yet ready to understand. Diana Ross. Diana Ross, born in Detroit in 1944, emerged as one of the most influential performers of the 20th century. As the lead singer of the Supremes, she helped Motown Records cross racial boundaries during the 1960s, delivering chart-topping hits such as Baby Love and Stop in the Name of Love. The group achieved 12 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, a record for an American vocal group at the time. When Ross transitioned into a solo career in 1970, she continued to shape popular culture with songs like Ain't No Mountain High Enough and Endless Love, while also earning an Academy Award nomination for portraying Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues 1972. Beyond music, her legacy extends through her children, particularly actress and producer Tracee Ellis Ross. Growing up surrounded by global fame, Tracee chose a path built on performance and humor rather than music. Her role as Dr. Rainbow Johnson on the television series Blackish 2014 to 2022 brought critical acclaim and a Golden Globe Award in 2017, making her the first Black woman in more than 3 decades to win Best Actress in a television comedy. Public curiosity, however, frequently focused less on her career and more on her personal life. Tracee has remained unmarried and openly content without children, a decision she has discussed in interviews as intentional rather than circumstantial. Over the years, speculation about her sexuality circulated largely because she declined to define herself according to traditional expectations. She consistently resisted labels, emphasizing autonomy and self-determination instead. Diana Ross rarely commented on such discussions. Having lived under intense media attention since her teenage years, she understood how quickly narratives could overshadow achievements. Her parenting approach reflected that experience: protect, support, and avoid fueling rumor. Rather than speaking through statements, she demonstrated pride by attending premieres, award ceremonies, and public events alongside her daughter. Their relationship illustrates generational change. Ross built her career in an era when public image had to be carefully managed for survival in the entertainment industry. Tracy belongs to a time when individuality carries greater acceptance, allowing personal choices to remain private without apology. Together, they represent two chapters of cultural progress. One opened doors through performance and discipline, the other walks through them with independence. The attention surrounding them ultimately reveals less about controversy and more about evolving definitions of womanhood, success, and self-ownership. Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson, born in Harlem in 1924 to Caribbean immigrant parents, spent her career redefining how Black women were portrayed on screen. At a time when Hollywood frequently reduced characters of color to background roles, Tyson deliberately chose projects that presented dignity and humanity. Her performance in Sounder, 1972, earned an Academy Award nomination, and her portrayal of the elderly former slave in the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, 1974, won 2 Emmy Awards. Through later projects such as Roots 1977 and The Help 2011, she maintained a consistent artistic philosophy: representation should uplift rather than diminish. While her public image reflected grace and composure, her personal life was deeply private. Long before fame, Tyson had a daughter, Joan Tyson, born in 1943. As her acting career expanded, long filming schedules required extended absences, and Joan spent much of her youth in boarding schools. The emotional distance created a relationship defined more by separation than visibility. In the late 1970s, reports circulated that Joan was living in Greenwich Village in New York, an area widely associated with artistic communities and LGBTQ social spaces. Observers claimed she was seen socializing closely with performers, prompting speculation about her identity. Tyson never addressed the rumors publicly. Instead, she maintained strict boundaries between career and family, believing public commentary could expose her daughter to unwanted scrutiny. The contrast between her advocacy on screen and silence at home reflected the social climate of her generation. Tyson fought professionally for respectful portrayals of Black Americans, yet she also lived during a period when personal matters could jeopardize reputations and opportunities. Her choice was not indifference, but protection through privacy. When her memoir, Just As I Am, was published in 2021, readers searched for answers about her family life. She offered only a brief dedication to Joan, a simple acknowledgement that carried emotional weight precisely because of its restraint. Days later, Tyson passed away at age 96. Her story demonstrates how public courage and private caution can coexist. Tyson changed television and film by insisting on authenticity in her roles, yet she handled motherhood quietly away from publicity. The narrative surrounding her family is therefore not scandalous, but reflective of history, a pioneering artist navigating both societal expectation and maternal responsibility in an era still learning how to accept difference. Cheryl Lee Ralph. Cheryl Lee Ralph, born in 1956 in Waterbury, Connecticut, and raised partly in Jamaica, built a career defined by persistence and reinvention. She first gained national attention on Broadway in Dreamgirls, 1981, originating the role of Deanna Jones and earning a Tony Award nomination. Over the decades, she appeared in films, television comedies, and dramatic productions, but her greatest late career resurgence arrived with the hit series Abbott Elementary, 2021, where her performance as Barbara Howard earned her a Primetime Emmy Award in 2022. The moment was historic. She became only the second Black woman ever to win Outstanding Supporting Actress in a comedy series. Away from stage lights, her personal life revealed another kind of influence: motherhood. Her daughter Ivy Victoria Coco Maurice, born in 1995, pursued a creative path as a designer and creative director rather than acting. In 2019, during a Pride celebration event in Beverly Hills, Coco openly displayed affection toward her female partner. Photographs and attendee posts quickly spread online, leading entertainment media to question how Ralph would respond. Instead of avoiding the topic, she addressed it calmly during interviews. Ralph explained that a parent's responsibility is not to shape a child's identity, but to protect their happiness. Her response avoided political rhetoric and focused on family. She emphasized that acceptance inside a home matters more than approval outside it. The statement resonated because it came from someone whose public image had long been associated with elegance and traditional professionalism. Ralph has also spent decades advocating for HIV/AIDS awareness, founding the DIVA Foundation in the early 1990s after losing friends to the epidemic. That background made her reaction consistent rather than surprising. She viewed openness not as controversy, but as compassion. Over time, Coco continued building her career in fashion and creative branding, appearing alongside her mother at events without secrecy or spectacle. Their story represents a modern shift. Earlier generations often guarded private matters to preserve careers. Ralph demonstrated that public respect and unconditional parenting can coexist. Her proud presence beside her daughter communicated more effectively than a press release. The narrative surrounding her family therefore became less about rumor and more about visibility, a reminder that representation does not end on television screens. Sometimes the most meaningful example occurs in everyday support, where love is expressed simply by standing beside one's child. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith, born in Baltimore in 1971, entered Hollywood in the early 1990s with performances in A Different World and films such as Set It Off, 1996. Over time, she expanded her career into producing business ventures and hosting, becoming widely known for the discussion series Red Table Talk, launched in 2018. The program centered on family conversations and honesty, a theme that would soon become deeply personal. Her daughter, Willow Smith, born in 2000, grew up under intense public attention. She achieved early fame with the 2010 single Whip My Hair, yet as she matured, she increasingly focused on philosophy, creativity, and individuality rather than conventional pop stardom. In May 2019, during an episode of Red Table Talk, Willow shared that she was attracted to both men and women. The disclosure reached millions of viewers because it occurred not through tabloids, but within a family conversation broadcast directly to the public. Jada's reaction became the defining moment. Rather than shock or defensiveness, she responded with empathy, asking questions and listening. The exchange illustrated parenting in real time, not scripted statements, but a discussion between generations. 2 years later, Willow explained her openness to polyamorous relationships again on the show, framing it as honesty and consent rather than rebellion. The public response was intense, ranging from praise to criticism. Jada addressed the attention by emphasizing education and understanding, explaining that she learned alongside her daughter. Her approach was consistent with the philosophy she had promoted for years: communication builds trust. Instead of distancing herself from the topic, she used her platform to normalize conversations about identity within families, particularly within communities where such discussions were often avoided. The Smith household had already been known for unconventional honesty, but this moment transformed that reputation into a broader social conversation. Jada did not attempt to control her daughter's narrative or define it publicly. She focused on emotional support, reinforcing that acceptance begins inside the home. Their experience highlighted a generational transition in celebrity culture. Previous decades relied on secrecy to maintain image, while the Smith family chose openness as stability. The story ultimately centered not on labels, but on relationship, a parent learning, a child trusting, and a family showing that understanding evolves when dialogue replaces silence. Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union, born in Omaha, Nebraska in 1972 and raised in California, became a familiar face in late 1990s and early 2000s cinema through films such as Bring It On 2000 and later television work, including Being Mary Jane, 2013 to 2019. Over time, she expanded beyond acting into writing, business, and advocacy, publishing a best-selling memoir, We're Going to Need More Wine, in 2017. Yet her most visible impact in recent years has come not from a role, but from her family life. After marrying NBA champion Dwyane Wade in 2014, Union became a stepmother to his children, including Zaya Wade, born in 2007. In February 2020, Zaya publicly shared that she is transgender at age 12. The announcement quickly became international news. While some public reactions were supportive, others were harsh and deeply personal. Instead of retreating from attention, Union and Wade chose direct advocacy. Wade appeared on national television explaining that their responsibility as parents was to listen and protect, while Union used interviews and social media to promote acceptance and education. Union openly discussed learning correct pronouns, challenging misconceptions, and confronting her own lack of understanding at first. Rather than presenting herself as immediately knowledgeable, she described a process listening, adjusting, and growing alongside her child. She emphasized that parenting meant supporting identity, not shaping it to fit expectations. In public appearances, she repeatedly referred to Zaya as courageous, shifting focus away from controversy toward empathy. The family also prioritized safety. They relocated much of their residence to a more supportive environment and advocated for protections for transgender youth. Zaya later appeared at public events and fashion shows, speaking about confidence and self-expression. Union stood beside her at each step, transforming celebrity visibility into advocacy rather than publicity. Her response resonated widely because it reflected practical parenting rather than ideology. She did not present acceptance as effortless. She presented it as necessary. Through interviews, panel discussions, and partnerships with equality organizations, she consistently highlighted mental health and the importance of supportive households. Union's story therefore goes beyond entertainment. It demonstrates how a public figure can use influence to normalize understanding. By prioritizing her child's well-being over public opinion, she reframed a personal family moment into a broader message. Love is not passive encouragement, but active protection, especially when a child's identity places them under scrutiny. Tami Roman. Tami Roman, born in 1970 in Mount Vernon, New York, first entered the public eye in 1993 on the reality television series The Real World Los Angeles. Decades later, she became widely known for Basketball Wives, where her sharp wit and outspoken personality made her one of the show's most memorable figures. Yet beyond the dramatic confrontations audiences saw on screen, Roman's life centered on raising her daughters, particularly her eldest child, Jazz Anderson. Jazz, born in 1996 to Roman and former NBA player Kenny Anderson, grew up around celebrity culture, but gravitated toward music rather than television. As she developed a career in hip-hop, her lyrics reflected personal experience and independence. Around 2018, speculation emerged online about her romantic life after she was seen affectionately interacting with another woman in a recording environment. Gossip blogs circulated the story, quickly drawing attention to Roman's reaction. Roman later spoke candidly in interviews about the emotional difficulty she faced. Her initial response, she admitted, came from fear rather than rejection, fear of public judgment and misunderstanding. She described needing to educate herself and rethink expectations she had unconsciously carried as a parent. Over time, conversations between mother and daughter replaced tension. Roman publicly stated she had to learn how to parent a queer child and that acceptance required listening rather than assumptions. Instead of denying the topic, she addressed it openly, explaining that growth is part of parenting. Her honesty resonated with many viewers because it portrayed adjustment realistically. She did not present herself as instantly comfortable. She described change as a process. Jazz Anderson eventually spoke openly about her sexuality and continued building a music career, crediting her mother's eventual support as important to her confidence. Roman's experience highlighted a different perspective from many celebrity narratives. Rather than immediate harmony, it showed evolution. She used her platform to discuss communication between parents and children and emphasized that understanding often comes through conversation and education. The story surrounding their family therefore became less about gossip and more about learning. Roman's willingness to admit uncertainty humanized her public image and demonstrated that acceptance can develop over time. By acknowledging her own growth, she illustrated that family relationships strengthen not through perfection, but through honesty and patience. Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia Bailey, born in 1967 in Alabama, first became known as a successful fashion model, appearing in major magazines and campaigns during the late 1980s and 1990s. She later reached a wider television audience as a longtime cast member on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, where viewers saw not only her business ventures but also her role as a mother. Her daughter Noelle Robinson, born in 1999, grew up partially on camera, which meant many of her personal milestones unfolded in front of millions of viewers. In 2019, during a film conversation on the show, Noelle calmly told her mother she considered herself sexually fluid. The moment stood out because it was unscripted and quiet, no dramatic music, no build-up. Cynthia's immediate reaction was to listen. After a brief pause, she reassured her daughter that her feelings were valid and that their relationship would not change. For audiences, the scene felt unusually genuine compared to typical reality television conflict. Public response was significant. Many viewers, especially young people, said the exchange modeled how a supportive conversation could happen in real life. Cynthia later explained in interviews that she initially felt surprised, not because she disapproved, but because she realized her child was sharing something deeply personal on camera. She chose acceptance in that moment, believing her daughter's comfort mattered more than her own uncertainty. Afterward, Noelle began living openly, attending events, and appearing publicly with her girlfriend. Cynthia accompanied her to appearances and spoke about learning as a parent. Rather than positioning herself as an expert, she acknowledged she was growing alongside her daughter. She emphasized that love requires listening without interruption and avoiding immediate judgment. Bailey's response resonated particularly within communities where discussions about sexuality are often private. She demonstrated that supportive parenting can be calm and ordinary rather than performative. Over time, she continued to reinforce that her priority was her child's confidence and mental well-being, not public perception. Their story ultimately reflected how visibility changes understanding. What might once have been hidden became a teaching moment for viewers. Cynthia Bailey's reaction did not involve speeches or activism, it involved presence. By choosing reassurance instead of fear, she showed that acceptance is sometimes expressed through a simple conversation, a parent sitting beside their child and letting them speak freely. Regina King. Regina King, born in Los Angeles in 1971, built a career marked by steady growth and critical respect. She began as a teenager on the sitcom 227 in the 1980s, then transitioned into film roles in Boys in the Hood 1991 and Jerry Maguire 1996. Decades later, she became one of the most acclaimed performers of her generation, winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for If Beale Street Could Talk 2018 and earning multiple Emmy Awards for television performances, including Watchmen 2019. While her professional success was widely celebrated, her personal life centered on her only child, Ian Alexander Jr., born in 1996. Ian pursued music and DJ work and frequently accompanied his mother to red carpet events. Their close relationship was visible in interviews and social media posts where they appeared affectionate and playful. King often described him as her greatest motivation and spoke about balancing career ambition with parenting. In January 2022, shortly after his 26th birthday, Ian died by suicide. The news shocked fans in the entertainment industry. Regina King released a brief statement expressing deep grief and describing her son as a bright light who cared deeply for others. The tragedy sparked renewed public discussion about mental health, particularly among young Black men who often face stigma surrounding emotional struggles. Although speculation circulated online about the pressures he experienced, King never allowed narratives to turn her son's life into rumor. Instead, she focused on honoring his memory and encouraging compassion. Observers noted that her response was measured and dignified, avoiding publicity while acknowledging the importance of awareness. Her experience highlighted a difficult reality. Even families that appear strong and supportive can face unseen challenges. In subsequent appearances, she emphasized kindness and checking on loved ones, reinforcing that emotional well-being deserves attention equal to physical health. Regina King's story within this context is not defined by scandal, but by resilience. She continued directing and working while carrying private grief, demonstrating strength without spectacle. The conversation surrounding her family shifted toward empathy rather than curiosity. Her life illustrates that fame cannot shield anyone from hardship, yet compassion can emerge from tragedy. Through remembrance and openness about pain, she transformed personal loss into a broader reminder of understanding and care. Eartha Kitt. Eartha Kitt, born in South Carolina in 1927, lived a life that rarely followed expectation. She rose from poverty to international fame as a singer, actress, and stage performer whose voice and presence were instantly recognizable. Songs like Santa Baby made her a global icon, while her portrayal of Catwoman in the 1960s Batman television series introduced her to a new generation of viewers. Yet Kitt's career was also marked by consequence. In 1968, after she publicly criticized the Vietnam War at a White House luncheon, many American bookings disappeared, and she spent years performing primarily in Europe. The experience shaped her belief that individuality should never be compromised for approval. Offstage, she was a devoted mother to her only child, Kit Shapiro, born in 1961. Unlike many celebrity children, Shapiro did not pursue acting. Instead, she became a businesswoman and later helped manage her mother's brand and estate. Their relationship was unusually close. Interviews describe them traveling together and treating professional decisions as shared conversations. As Shapiro grew older, occasional rumors surfaced about her personal life, particularly after appearances at charity events connected to HIV/AIDS awareness in New York during the early 2000s. Photographs showing her with female friends led to speculation and gossip columns, though no confirmation ever followed. Neither mother nor daughter publicly addressed the claims. Kit's philosophy was consistent: a person's identity belonged to them, not to public interpretation. She often spoke about freedom of self-expression, explaining in interviews that society spends too much energy categorizing people instead of understanding them. When Eartha Kitt passed away in December 2008, at age 81, Shapiro became the steward of her legacy, publishing a memoir about their relationship and preserving recordings, performances, and archival material. Rather than clarifying rumors, she focused on celebrating her mother's message of authenticity. Their story reflects a shared principle: dignity through privacy. Kitt spent her career challenging expectations on stage, while at home she protected her child's independence. The narrative surrounding them ultimately highlights not controversy, but continuity. A mother who lived unapologetically, raising a daughter allowed to define her own life without explanation. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg, born Karen Elaine Johnson in New York City in 1955, achieved one of the rarest accomplishments in entertainment: EGOT status, winning an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award. Her breakthrough came with The Color Purple, 1985, which earned her an Academy Award nomination, followed by an Oscar win for Ghost, 1990. Beyond acting, she became a comedian, producer, and longtime moderator on the talk show The View. Throughout her career, she cultivated a reputation for candor and humor, often addressing social issues directly. Despite her public personality, Goldberg kept her family life relatively private, especially concerning her daughter Alex Martin, born in 1973. Alex occasionally appeared in small acting roles, including Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, 1993, but largely pursued producing and business ventures. Unlike many children of famous parents, she avoided sustained media attention, preferring a stable life away from celebrity culture. During the late 1990s, entertainment gossip circulated about Alex's relationships after individuals on a film set claimed she was seen showing affection toward a woman. The story never received confirmation or photographic evidence, yet it continued appearing in rumor discussions. Goldberg chose not to comment publicly. Her silence was deliberate. She often argued that speculation about private relationships distracts from meaningful achievements. Over the years, mother and daughter appeared together at interviews and talk shows, demonstrating a warm and supportive bond. Goldberg emphasized that parenting involves giving children the space to determine their own identity. She neither denied nor validated gossip, instead refusing to let curiosity define her family. Her approach aligned with statements she made in comedy routines and interviews. Personal life should not require public approval. Today, Alex Martin is a mother of 3 and maintains a quiet presence, occasionally collaborating with her mother on projects, but rarely engaging with publicity. Goldberg's handling of attention around her family showed a consistent principle: openness about ideas, privacy about loved ones. The story surrounding them therefore centers not on controversy, but on boundaries. In an industry built on exposure, she demonstrated that protecting family can be as intentional as performing on stage, proving that authenticity sometimes means choosing what not to share. Tina Turner. Tina Turner, born Anna Mae Bullock in Tennessee in 1939, became one of the most powerful performers in music history. Beginning in the late 1950s alongside Ike Turner, she gained recognition for explosive stage energy and a distinctive voice. After leaving an abusive marriage in the mid-1970s with little financial stability, she rebuilt her career almost from the beginning. That comeback culminated in the album Private Dancer 1984, which sold over 20 million copies worldwide and earned multiple Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year for What's Love Got to Do with It. From that point forward, she was not only a singer, but a global cultural symbol of resilience. Away from arenas and tours, she was also a mother. Her son Ronnie Turner, born in 1960, grew up in the shadow of two famous parents and occasionally worked in music and acting, including a small role in the 1993 film based on her life story. Unlike his mother, he preferred privacy and avoided celebrity attention, living mostly in Los Angeles and maintaining a quieter career. Over the years, occasional paparazzi photographs showing Ronnie socializing in West Hollywood led to online speculation about his personal relationships. Neither Ronnie nor Tina publicly confirmed or denied any rumors. Instead, Tina consistently emphasized a simple message in interviews: her children's lives belong to them. Having experienced decades of intrusive press coverage herself, she valued boundaries and chose not to let curiosity overshadow family. In December 2022, Ronnie died at age 62 after complications related to illness. Tina expressed grief in a brief statement, focusing on remembrance rather than publicity. Just months later, in May 2023, she herself passed away at 83, closing a career spanning more than 6 decades. Her story illustrates a contrast between public triumph and private loyalty. On stage, she was fearless and electrifying. At home, she protected her son's independence. The attention surrounding their family never became a spectacle because she refused to turn personal matters into headlines. Ultimately, her legacy rests not only in record sales or awards, but in resilience and in a mother's decision to support without explaining, showing that love can be steady even when lived far from the spotlight. Donna Summer. Donna Summer, born LaDonna Gaines in Boston in 1948, became known worldwide as the Queen of Disco. After moving to Europe as a teenager and working in musical theater, she collaborated with producers Giorgio Moroder and Pete Bellotte, helping define the sound of late 1970s dance music. Songs such as Love to Love You Baby, Hot Stuff, and Last Dance dominated charts, and she earned 5 Grammy Awards. Her 1977 recording, I Feel Love, proved especially influential, introducing electronic production techniques that shaped modern pop and dance music for decades. Despite the glamour associated with disco, her home life was comparatively grounded. She married musician Bruce Sudano in 1980 and raised their daughter Brooklyn Sudano, born in 1981. Brooklyn chose acting and later writing and producing rather than singing, appearing in television series including My Wife and Kids. She generally avoided the nightlife image associated with her mother's era, building a quieter professional path. During the early 2000s, entertainment blogs briefly speculated about Brooklyn's friendships with female performers she worked alongside in New York theater circles. The stories never produced evidence and were never confirmed. Brooklyn later married producer Mike McLaughlin and maintained a low public profile, focusing on family and creative projects. Donna Summer never publicly discussed rumors, preferring to speak about faith, family, and personal growth in interviews. Summer's later career balanced touring, recording, and spiritual life, and she often said she wanted her children to feel secure rather than famous. When she passed away in May 2012 at age 63, after a battle with cancer, Brooklyn helped preserve her legacy through documentaries and music projects, ensuring her contributions to pop culture were remembered accurately. Their story reflects continuity rather than controversy. Donna Summer symbolized freedom on stage during a transformative musical era, while her daughter built a life grounded in privacy. By refusing to address speculation, both women demonstrated a shared approach. Personal identity should be self-defined, not publicly negotiated. The narrative surrounding them therefore centers on heritage, a celebrated artist whose influence reshaped music, and a daughter who honored that legacy by living authentically on her own terms. Nichelle Nichols. Nichelle Nichols, born Grace Dell Nichols in 1932 in Illinois, changed television history with a single role. As Lieutenant Nyota Uhura on Star Trek 1966 to 1969, she portrayed a competent communications officer on the bridge of a starship at a time when American television rarely depicted Black women in positions of authority. Her presence was so culturally significant that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. personally encouraged her to remain on the show when she considered leaving after the first season. The character became a symbol of possibility and inspired generations, including future scientists and astronauts. Beyond acting, Nichols later worked with NASA on recruitment campaigns during the 1970s and 1980s, helping encourage women and people of color to pursue careers in space exploration. Several astronauts, including Sally Ride and Guion Bluford, credited outreach programs connected to her efforts for broadening interest in the field. Her public life therefore combined entertainment and representation. Her private life centered on her son, Kyle Johnson, born in 1951. Johnson briefly entered acting and starred in The Learning Tree, 1969, one of the earliest major studio films directed by an African-American filmmaker, Gordon Parks. Despite early promise, he gradually stepped away from Hollywood and lived largely outside the entertainment industry. Observers noted his disappearance from public appearances during the late 1970s and 1980s, and speculation emerged about his desire for privacy and independence. Nichols never publicly explained his absence or responded to rumors regarding his personal identity. Instead, she consistently described him as thoughtful and intelligent, maintaining a clear boundary between her professional life and family matters. Friends and colleagues later noted that she believed celebrity attention could easily harm those who did not seek it. When she passed away in July 2022 at age 89, tributes focused on her pioneering achievements and cultural impact. Yet part of her legacy also reflected restraint. While she represented openness and progress on screen, she protected her child from public scrutiny off-screen. Her story demonstrates how representation and privacy can coexist. A performer who encouraged visibility for millions while ensuring her own family retained the freedom to live quietly. Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight, born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1944, earned the title Empress of Soul through a career spanning more than 6 decades. Beginning as a child performer with her family group, the Pips, she rose to fame in the 1960s and 1970s with hits including Midnight Train to Georgia, Neither One of Us, and Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me. Her rich contralto voice and emotional delivery distinguished her from contemporaries and earned multiple Grammy Awards. Unlike many artists tied to a single era, she successfully transitioned through changing musical styles, continuing to record, tour, and perform well into later life. Away from the stage, Knight focused strongly on family. Her son Shanga Hankerson, born in 1977, chose entrepreneurship rather than music. In the late 1990s, he founded a restaurant business in Atlanta using his mother's name and Southern recipes, creating a popular local establishment that combined dining with entertainment. For years, the venture prospered and became closely associated with her public image. However, in 2016, the business faced legal and financial trouble when tax authorities alleged significant unpaid state taxes. Knight clarified publicly that she was not involved in the company's operations and later removed her name from the enterprise. Around the same period, gossip columns circulated rumors about Hankerson's private relationships, but neither he nor his mother commented on speculation. Knight maintained a consistent public stance. Family matters should not be debated in headlines. In interviews, she emphasized faith, forgiveness, and support for her children, regardless of difficulties. She continued touring and recording while encouraging her son to resolve his legal issues independently. Over time, he lived more privately, largely away from public attention. Her story reflects the complicated intersection of fame and parenthood. While audiences saw a confident performer commanding concert halls, her personal approach remained grounded. She neither dramatized nor denied controversies, choosing instead to separate her career from her child's life. Through decades of success and challenge, she consistently reinforced that a parent's role is steady presence rather than public explanation. The narrative surrounding her family therefore emphasizes endurance, a legendary voice sustained by a commitment to loyalty, resilience, and unconditional care. 17 women, decades of influence, and one powerful question: what matters more, reputation or authenticity? These stories weren't about scandal, but about generational change. Some mothers chose privacy, others chose openness, yet each faced the same challenge: loving a child while the world watched. Society has evolved, but debate remains. Should public figures share their family truths to help others, or do they deserve absolute boundaries? There is no simple answer, and that is why the conversation continues. Now it's your turn. Join the discussion below and share your opinion respectfully. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support Black excellence legends, because history is remembered, but truth is debated.